So hello and welcome back to We Talk Boxing. And today I will be discussing the up and coming fight between Deontay Wilder versus Robert Helenius on Saturday the 15th of October. Now this scheduled bout will be a WBC Title Eliminator, meaning that the winner will potentially have a title shot against whoever is the WBC champion at that time as well. Now, before I give you my opinion about this pre-scheduled fight, obviously please like, subscribe, comment and share for more boxing related content and to help us grow this channel even further as well. And also I will be doing a full fight analysis as well as giving my thoughts and predictions about this fight as it gets closer to the date as well. So stay tuned for that video. So my first initial thoughts about this fight, obviously between Deontay Wilder versus Robert Helenius, is that it's a good fight, you know what I mean, for Deontay to return to, you know what I mean. You got to take into consideration, you know what I mean. Deontay's been out of the ring, sorry, since you know what I mean, just over a year. So you know what I mean, like this is a pretty good steady matchup for him. Do you know what I mean? He did suffer two big KO losses, you know what I mean, in his last two fights against Tyson Fury as well. So, you know what I mean? He's going to need to get in there with someone who's potentially not going to cause him too much harm as well, but could also give him a little bit of rounds. And hopefully, you know what I mean, if things go to plan as Team Wilder think they will, you know what I mean, he could get, you know what I mean, a good name on his record, but also build that confidence as well for hopefully future bigger fights as well. So yeah, it's quite interesting to be fair, but I think it's a good matchup to start off with. Now, you know what I mean, just prior, you know what I mean, to this confirmation as well about the scheduled fight, you know what I mean, there were potential, you know what I mean, many links really, you know what I mean, linking obviously Deontay Wilder to you know what I mean, to come out of retirement, not retirement, but to come back and fight against various heavyweights. Do you know what I mean? And some journalists as well were saying that he's potentially going to retire from boxing, and you know what I mean, because obviously the Tyson Fury fight took too much out of him. Do you know what I mean? He suffered too much punishment. Do you know what I mean, against Fury? But you know what I mean. It's good to see him back. Obviously he brings a lot to the heavyweight division. So you know what I mean. That's a big bonus there. And there's still many fights out there. Some still, you know what I mean, some good fights out there for him. And it's quite interesting. What's quite ironic, really, is that even though he hasn't been in the ring for just over a year, he's still ranked number one. You know what I mean, in the WBC rankings, and I don't know how the hell he's pulled that off. Because if you look at obviously Dillian White, who's recently fought Tyson Fury, you know what I mean, which took him how many years, you know what I mean, to get that title shot, and he was ranked number one for God knows how, and obviously the mandatory, etc., etc. But as soon as he lost, you know what I mean, to Fury, he was ranked, you know what I mean, sixth or seventh or whatever in the WBC rankings. Whereas obviously Wilder's, you know what I mean, he's had that draw with Fury and two losses on his name, but he's still ranked number one. I just literally don't know how he's pulled that off. And as I stated at the start of this video as well, this fight will be, you know what I mean, an eliminator, meaning that obviously if Fury doesn't vacate, potentially, you know what I mean, we could see a Wilder Fury part four. Do you know what I mean? And obviously I can't see Fury wanting that because it's pointless. He hasn't got anything to gain from that fight, whereas Wilder has. Do you know what I mean? And I honestly can't see Wilder wanting that fourth fight either. So obviously, getting back onto the topic of this video, you know what I mean? I feel obviously this is a good safety fight, you know what I mean, for Wilder to return to. And it's, you know what I mean, Wilder knows Robert Helenius very well, you know what I mean? He brought him in for his camp against Tyson Fury. I think it's one or the two fights, obviously, that he brought him in as a sparring partner. So obviously he knows Helenius quite well, and a guaranteed Team Wilder, you know what I mean, if they felt that Helenius would have given Wilder a lot of trouble in his return fight, I mean, he wouldn't have been considered. So I think his management team feel quite happy that this is a good opponent for Wilder, and that he's not going to cause him, cause too much of an upset really, because obviously they're banking a lot of money on Wilder, and hopefully that, you know what I mean, they feel their fighter could potentially become world champion again. But you know what I mean, for Helenius, you know what I mean, he's a good opponent for Wilder. I feel as if he will give him some rounds in this fight and that he won't be a pushover. And he could also punch. Yeah, so I feel that, you know what I mean, this is a good fight for Wilder, seeing how he's been out of the ring, you know what I mean, for over a year. Plus, you know what I mean, Helenius is ranked, you know what I mean, in two of the four governing bodies in their top 15. So he is a credible opponent in some instincts, to be fair. And he's coming off those two, you know what I mean, incredible KO victories over Adam Kawanaki last time out as well. So he's full of confidence, and I guess him and his team will be feeling that they can pull off an upset in this fight. But anyway, I want to keep this video fairly short. Do you know what I mean? But let me know what your thoughts are about this. Obviously, matchup between Deontay Wilder and Robert Helenius, and you know what I mean. Do you think it's good? You know what I mean, that Deontay's back in the ring. Do you know what I mean? Would you have preferred him just to retire and sail off in the wind? Do you know what I mean? Or would you have preferred him to come back out of retirement? Not retirement, but would you have preferred him to come back into the ring against a different or alternative opponent? You know what I mean? Someone such as like an Andy Ruiz or Dev Chisora, maybe a Dillian White. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, you know what I mean? As always, please like, subscribe, comment, and share for more boxing related content. And please let me know in the comments below. Bless.